there, my name's James and welcome to R&R, the show where I react to and review some of the latest and greatest music videos. Today, I'll be checking out BAND MAID's live performance at 2023 Lollapalooza of Dice and Hate. This one has been requested many times. I'm really keen to check it out, so let's get to it. So we get what looks like a multicam live stream. Cool, not bad so far. Obviously, you know, the video and audio quality is not particularly great. I mean, it is nice that we get a multicam, you know, that way we do get a much broader range and idea of, you know, the whole show rather than, you know, just a static shot from, say, the audience perspective. However, you know, there is, you know, the sort of low frame rate quality to it, which, you know, it's not great. And of course, you know, the audio quality, it's not necessarily terrible, but it's, you know, it's not a fully produced proper recording, at least, you know, a fully produced live recording. You know, there is definitely a lot of over compression happening, I think, on the overall mix. That's why, you know, you get these jumps or these sort of when everyone's in, when the whole band's in, particularly say like the chorus section where there's so much sound and energy happening, everything's sort of like squished dynamically. And then as soon as like that moment right there where the band drops out, there's sort of like the overall kind of noise floor comes back up, and at least to my ears with headphones on, yeah, everything doesn't sound quite as, you know, squished and compressed as previously. But I assume as the band's going to come back in for this post-chorus section, you know, everything's going to get compressed and squished again. But given all that, you can hear, you know, all the band quite clearly. You know, the vocal leveling is a bit hit and miss. But again, I think that's probably one of the hardest things to really get right for a live recording is good vocal level. Everything else, all the other instrumentation is usually quite easy, but because, you know, with a vocalist moving around, particularly, you know, lead vocalist, that can be the difficulty. But just vocals in general, you know, like a vocal microphone, their purpose is, you know, to be cardioid or hypercardioid in some instances, particularly a lot of like modern live vocal microphones. Yeah, as soon as you get any movement, there's that immediate loss in, you know, quality and dynamics. But overall, performance-wise, it's nice. It's just, yeah, you know, the overall quality of the package that we're getting, the product that we're getting is not great, but I think it is still a pretty good representation, at least from my understanding of BAND MAID's live show. So I think overall good so far. You know, it's not all direct microphone. There is that sort of stage audience volume. So giving you that real live show perspective, which is a massive part of recording a live show. Stellar bass playing, as always. And the tone of the bass as well. Very consistent. Nice solo. You know, just a small mention here, it's not something that you see a lot, and I feel there's a bit of a contention around the idea of using iPads or tablets in general in a live performance. You know, I definitely see a lot of cover acts doing it, or particularly, you know, sort of orchestral acts for their sheet music. I don't know if I've ever seen a rock or metal band using an iPad live there. Forgive me for not remembering all the names of each of the members of BAND MAID, but the guitarist that does a lot of the backup singing or secondary singing, as I've been told, is using an iPad there. I wonder if that's for lyrics. You know, I personally have a really hard time remembering lyrics. So yeah, I wonder what that's for, if that's for maybe cueing of certain musical elements. You know, I've definitely seen a lot of metal bands, particularly, and rock bands, particularly older ones, using lyric prompters, but I think this is the first time I've actually seen like an iPad being used, or a tablet being used by a rock band, at least a younger sort of rock and or metal band. So I know I've mentioned it before, but also, you know, really good thing seeing them all smiling throughout the performance, particularly, you know, all of the members at the front getting hit by the sun there. That would be pretty hot right now. Ads. I believe that would have been that transition there from Dice to Hate. Although, to be honest, I'm not fully aware of the songs in their own right. I've listened to them 2 or 3 times now, but yeah, not super familiar with them. You know, I definitely heard a backing track earlier on come in, and I assumed it was maybe just for cue sounds and so probably click track. There was a little moment in there, I'm gonna have to go back just to see. It did sound like maybe there were some cymbals or drums in the backing track. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. I mean, it's such a fine detail. There was a moment where the drummer dropped their stick and you can still hear the kick drum, but most importantly, to me at least, you can hear a hi-hat keeping time. You know, does it wreck the performance? I don't think so. Not in this case. I mean, when there have been those little reprieves of being able to hear one of the members at a time, like where the rest of the band drops out and you can hear one of the guitars really clearly, you know, the sound of and the quality of the guitar tone is sounding really, really good. So yeah, I don't think having at least, you know, sort of little bits of drums within the backing track is a super big problem. Although, yeah, that's a tough one for me. Comes back in on time, you know, really, really well. But yeah, just a weird thing to have in a backing track, I feel. I really wish the camera had cut to the bassist just then, because there's obviously some great drums, but there we go. Some impressive playing there, I will say, but it's maybe going on a little bit too long for me. I do like this section. Ooh. Nice tapping. I will say, you know, the confidence in the girls playing, you know, overall is super good. And I also really enjoy the fact that, yeah, there's no true, I guess, or clear emphasis on necessarily staying within key. You know, it is just sort of like shred and make it sound good and have fun doing it. You know, they are in key, let's say 90 to 95% of the time, but I do like that, you know, yeah, there isn't this like, oh no, I've hit the wrong note, oh, what's everyone gonna think of me sort of thing. It is just play through it, make it the right note, which is a great technique to have in your toolbox when being a guitarist or any musician really. I guess I do just want to touch on that backing track comment that I made earlier. I think, you know, I've been criticized in the past of, you know, sort of criticizing artists from using backing tracks. I'm definitely not against it. The only question for me that now lingers is what else of the drums is included in the backing track. You know, there's been some amazing drum playing here, particularly just before that section where, you know, there was the bass and guitar duel. But yeah, there's just that, I guess, that lingering feeling now of like, well, it's not 100% live, at least the drums aren't, so what else is not? Again, you know, I don't mind the fact of using a backing track or a click track for the whole band to be able to stay in time, particularly in time with obviously their visuals and lighting show, which there's no visuals in this one, but definitely obviously a lighting show happening. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's a little bit weird to me to have drums, at least within the front of house, you know, what the audience is hearing. I can understand having some drums in the in-ear monitors, absolutely. I would just like to have a better understanding of why. Look, the audience loves it. They probably don't care that there's a backing track being used. So overall, I definitely have to say, I think a really great way of showing what a Band Maid live show is like, or can be like, at least within this setting of a festival, which is generally different to, you know, if the band is going to go on tour, and whether that's, you know, in a support role or a leading role, a headliner act. So I think overall good. Obviously the audio quality, it's a tough one for that. You know, that definitely drops the points for me, and it makes it difficult to listen to at some points, at least with headphones on. Might be different on a stereo set of speakers, but yeah, just that level of compression that's happening makes it pretty difficult. It does say here, you know, with optimized audio, so I don't really understand what optimized audio is. That may be just a general overall, you know, sort of stereo compression happening on the whole mix. So it would be interesting to hear what the original audio was like and whether that overall compression was on the original audio. Obviously, you know, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to live streamed audio as well. Obviously, there's a lot of compression and different things happening, you know, throughout the upload and streaming process. So yeah, there's lots of technical aspects that limit the quality already as it's being streamed. And then I would say visual quality, you know, I do think the fact that it is the multi-cam performance is really good. Obviously, you know, like the color grading and stuff's completely out and looks hazy at some points, and obviously again, you know, that upload quality isn't super good. The bit rate is obviously, yeah, quite low at some points, and you're getting some weird frame rate stuff. But again, I think overall a pretty good representation of what a Band Maid show might be like. As for the overall performances, yeah, there are definitely those moments, at least for me, where, again, going back to the backing track idea, you know, it just leaves that lingering question of what else is being distributed throughout the front of house to the audience that is then being sold as the live performance. I do think, you know, probably 95% of it or more is live. There's probably just a few moments here and there that are going through, like some of those cueing sounds, some of those, you know, effects and things that just enhance certain areas of songs. It really was for me just, yeah, that weird moment where the drums, there was obviously pre-recorded drums in the backing track. Maybe that is put in there intentionally to give the drummer a little bit of a break from, you know, how much work she is doing, which I have mentioned in previous videos. You know, she has a hard job keeping up with some of those tempos and, you know, the fills and some of the beats that she gets to play. So maybe it is just, yeah, a little bit of a moment of reprieve until she has to come back in and, you know, finish off the song. So maybe that's the intention, and if so, you know, I can kind of let that slide. But yeah, it just, as I said, you know, sorry for being a broken record, but it is just that lingering question of what else isn't live and is being presented as live. Other than that, you know, as usual, we get some amazing bass guitar playing. For me, at least, the bassist of Band Maid is such a integral part of the band. The vocalist as well, definitely, but I think, at least for me, something about the bassist and her playing and the way that she's able to hold down a real steady bass line, but also move around the fretboard as well, and it not be too busy, too over the top. Even in her little sort of break jam session there, where she's letting loose, even then, you know, she's still in time. You know, there was some moments where she's doing like little triplet notes, which were just, you know, at that tempo would have been difficult to play, but yeah, there was such good feel and timing to it. Guitarist is great as well, you know, obviously having so much fun up on stage, just ripping, letting loose. And I feel in this one, the vocalist definitely, again, just having a lot of fun, and that really comes through. As I said, you know, it's a tough job being in the sun like that for most likely 45 minutes or so, I would think their set is. So it probably was a good idea for there to be that bass and guitar sort of back and forth solo for the vocalist to take a step back and be in the shade for a while. So again, I'm definitely left being pretty impressed by the overall product musicianship of Band Maid. So yeah, definitely a band I'm going to keep focused on probably for the next year. And so I'm really interested to track their progress and see if they can break through the Western market in a bigger way, in a more impactful, powerful way, and see if they can level up to, you know, later in the day for these sorts of festivals, because I think they can definitely produce a show worthy of those spots. All right, that's it for me in this one. Be sure to let me know, what do you guys think of the live performance of Dyson Hate at 2023's Lollapalooza? Is there something I missed? Was I a little bit too harsh on that point of the backing track? Let me know in the comments below. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out some of these other videos appearing before me. You'll catch me in the next one.